Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning. My name is Carla Pendergraft with the Waco Convention Center and Visitors Bureau, and I would like to invite the Honorable Mayor of Waco, Dylan Meek, up to the podium. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. Thanks, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being here today for this press conference, and I'm excited to welcome everybody for this big announcement. We have representatives here from many organizations to be part of this effort. TAPPS, of course, we're so glad you're here, but also want to recognize the Waco Tourism Public Improvement District Corporation, or TPID for short, the Greater Waco Sports Commission, the Waco Convention Center and Visitors Bureau, City of Waco staff, and others who are part of the great efforts locally in hosting sports events, competitions, and conventions. I would like to specifically note that this is the first project that the Waco TPID has officially participated in since the TPID was authorized by the state legislature and formed here in Waco. And I'm so excited to see that the corporation is starting to get involved in events and getting to do what it was created for. There are a lot of exciting things in store for Waco in the days ahead. This year, we've kind of said, taking on this message, this idea that Waco is a city of champions. And that started when our own local Baylor men's basketball program won the NCAA championship and carried on into other championships in this city, like when MCC baseball won the World Series. And I think that fits so nicely because it embodies the DNA of Waco, which is hard work and grit and excellence, imperative values to win championships, which is why we're so thankful for this announcement today. TAPPS has brought many events to Waco over the years, and we're so thankful for that. We are proud to host people that you TAPPS bring to our area, not just athletic teams, but the parents, the grandparents, the siblings, the aunts, the uncles, coaches, friends, and so many others who come to Waco over the years to support their teams. With membership of 230 schools, representing over 40,000 students throughout Texas, TAPPS is a force to be reckoned with. We appreciate you and the events that you bring to Waco. Sports brings us together. I think that through the thrill of competition and the joy for rooting for the home team, it's an important thing in our culture. And I think right now, particularly, the friendship, the culture that comes from sportsmanship and sports is so important. And Waco stands ready to embrace and welcome the families that will be coming as a result of this announcement. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to TAPPS for the announcement and the reason that we're all here today.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Brian Butzmeyer. I'm the Executive Director of TAPPS. It's been my pleasure to serve TAPPS for the last 16 years. I've been in TAPPS for 25. As we drove in today on the great I-35, it's getting better. We're glad to have that getting better. But it reminds me that 50 years ago, TAPPS was formed in a hotel here in Waco that no longer exists. We played football at Floyd Casey for many years, a stadium which no longer exists. We ran track at Hart-Patterson, a facility that's now been replaced. It still exists, but it's been replaced. And I say that to say as Waco has reinvented itself, and I give credit to everyone in Waco who has seen a vision, who has seen the idea to become a city of champions. Just recently, the base at Extraco is coming on as an additional space. Having had Waco Convention Center energized over the years and become the value that it is. I think it's a crown jewel of Texas that not a lot of people understand. It is a great place, just as the Extraco, to hold meetings, but to also have opportunity. So I love the metrics. We're 230 schools. We're over 40,000 students. I can tell you how many room nights we have. I can tell you the economic input because my calculus major brain says there's got to be a formula to figure that out, but that's not why we're here. I spent the last few years, and especially these last few months coming out of COVID, understanding what TAPPS is, and vicariously and through these partnerships, what we all are. We make dreams come true. When you think about being a young child, and there's that country song where he tosses the ball up, he misses it 3 times and says, you know what, I didn't realize what a great pitcher I am. I'm the greatest ever. We all did that. We all did that in some form. We either painted and said, I'm going to be the next great artist, or I sang, which I don't sing, but we sang, and I'm going to become the next great country singer. But those are the dreams for little kids. And as they grow up, those dreams are nurtured and they're brought to fruition in some form by teachers, by parents, and by opportunity. We provide opportunity for our schools. Waco provides that opportunity. So it's not just the venue, it's not just TAPPS, it's the hotels, it's the accessibility, it's the restaurants. And in these days when it's hard to find help, it's definitely the restaurants. But I will tell you, Waco has envisioned itself and has created itself to be a destination for our type of event. There's a place to stay, there's a place to eat, and there's a place to host an event that are all excellent in quality. So, Mayor and everybody here, I totally thank you for that opportunity and what you brought to us and what you provide for us. So that's where I am. I'm going to turn it over to Justin and let him have a few words. I'm going to say TIPPD because I can't say the Tourism Tax Improvement District or whatever it really is. So thank y'all again.
Thank you all again. My name is Justin Edwards. As chairman of the Waco Tourism Public Improvement District, we are pleased that TAPPS has recommitted to Waco for the next 3 years. TAPPS is one of the biggest drivers in hotel room nights in the Waco area and pretty much impacts every hotel in Waco anytime that they're in the Waco area. TAPPS is very important to us, and we thank Brian, Steve, Robert, and all those at the TAPPS organization because we know every single event that they bring into Waco takes a huge amount of work and planning ahead of time, so we appreciate everything y'all do. In the end, we're just super excited that they're going to be coming to Waco and that they've chosen Waco as their official host city, and just looking forward to what's going to be in the future. So thank y'all very much. With that said, we'll turn it over to Mr. Tom Hill.
Thank you. This was kind of a dangerous thing to put me here to be able to speak about TAPPS. Many of you know my history with TAPPS goes back a long way. And he mentioned a hotel where it all kind of happened, but there was a man that I would be remiss without mentioning today is Ed Burleson. Ed Burleson is a local name that many of you might remember, but he had a vision. He had a vision for what TAPPS could be to Waco and Central Texas. In his words, all roads lead to Central Texas, and they do. And the vision that he had as an educator with children and with kids and with athletics, he was a coach himself, and he knew what he could bring to Waco would change drastically the layout for high school, private school athletics, and for what it could do to Waco. So I'm a track and field buff. That's my background. So when Ed and I got together, it was initially about track. Track here at Waco is a big, big deal. So I knew that their state championship could ultimately be a big, big deal. And literally, as we began, each year became a new success. Each year became a new success, and it carried over into football. It carried over into basketball. It carried over into every one of their sports because we were able to create, through Ed's vision and a relationship that was established, something that became excellent, something that showed the true nature of competitiveness, the building of championships, what we had going in track and field, and what we have today is now literally coming from about 600 people in the grandstands and 3 divisions of boys and girls athletics and academics to 6 different conferences, both boys and girls, and stands that in Waco we cannot even hardly hold a track and field championship. It's incredible. It is one of the most phenomenal growth patterns of these sports. But what I really want to mention is how this has impacted all of the other sports and how it has impacted the economics and the catalyst of hotel growth, restaurants. When TAPPS comes to town in any championship, it is on everybody's radar. At one point in time, it was not that way. It was TAPPS is coming to town. What are we going to do? How do we accommodate? Now this is a force, and it is by Ed Burleson. He handed the ball off to Brian, and Brian and I have become close friends out of necessity many times. It's okay to call at 2 a.m. It's okay to hang out as we need, but that's okay. We both don't mind getting in the trenches, and if we had time to tell stories, we could do that as well. But this is a big day. this is a big day for Waco, and it's even a bigger day for TAPPS, because TAPPS is something that the rest of our country, believe it or not, the rest of the country looks to what TAPPS has created overall in the private school business for the benefits of boys and girls. So thank you, TPID, thank you, CVB, thank you, mayors, thank you, Bradley, for all that you do to help this organization thrive in the state of Texas and be a shining light through our nation. Thank you.
Hello again. I just wanted to say we know that our friends at TAPPS are solicited on a daily basis by other Texas cities trying to draw these events to their town. We will never take our friends at TAPPS for granted. Thank you so much, Brian. We want to work just as hard to keep them in Waco as others will work to draw them away. Thank you to Jason Elliott, where are you? And Wes Allison at the Exco Event Center. Your continued support of TAPPS is greatly appreciated. Thank you too to Assistant City Manager Lisa Blackman and Interim Director Galen Price for their support. Ashley Nystrom, who helped pull this together today. Finally, thanks to all of those who worked so hard to make these events happen. All of these don't occur in a vacuum. They take a lot of work to put on, both from TAPPS and Tom and Wes and everybody, but also Jonathan Cook and Megan Davis of Waco Parks and Rec, Mike Vogelar of the Sports Commission, and the Waco TPID and our hotel partners represented by Justin Edwards. And with that, we'll conclude, and thank you all for being here today, and hopefully there will be some of our speakers available for one-on-one interviews afterwards. Appreciate it. That's it.